Good afternoon, it's Seth at Houghton Lodge. Now, we've about finished all this work above the yew tree on the upper beat, so I'm just going to take a walk along it, just see what's going on. I said that some of these beds have now been put in for about a week, some of this gravel. So you can see we're walking up above the yew tree. You can see how this flow's completely altered on this river now with these berms that have been put in. You've got a nice run on the inside where we didn't really have one there before. But it's completely altered the way that we look at this beat now. We're going to fish it, I think. Now, there's several hundred tons of gravel gone into each of these berms, like I said before, but it's made a huge difference to this river and also improved the spawning grounds and for the wild fish. Now, hopefully we'll see a few fish that have moved on to these. So they've only been there a few days, and I wouldn't expect too much yet. But that's the one. We've left the tree because it's on the far bank. As we move up, you can see the flow's been kicked from one side of the river now to the other. Rather than it being a straight flow straight down the river, we've actually kicked this flow about quite significantly now. Now, hopefully we'll see these fish moving on to these bits of gravel that we've put in these holes. I say these are like an upturned egg box now with these gravel beds where the fish are sat. Oh, there's one, hang on. These fish are sat in the holes just slightly out of the current in these fish lies that we've created by putting these humps and bumps in the river. Nice few fish on this one, to be fair. So this has been here less than a week. Spooked that one. But I said, none of this was here last week. This is just what's arrived over the last few days. I'm quite surprised how many fish we have actually kept in the river, considering the disruption that we've had on it. Also left this lovely fringe in place where we can. We've replanted it on our bank to give them a bit of shade, somewhere to run and hide if there's a predator on the river. So it's thrown that current from one side of the river now, from right from one side to the other, meandering still within the course of the existing river though. We haven't dug out any banks, we've only added to it. That's looking up towards the footbridge, and you can see that big one on the left that's created a lovely bit of a run. And once again we've raised the bed of the river there. Hopefully when we get a low water situation like we've had this year, these raised bits of bed will hold the water back in the pool above it. So we've left all that lovely fringe on the far bank. As we look at, there's a smaller one just there, and we're looking up towards that little footbridge again, but with a pool in between these that'll hold a bit better stockfish. But here we're hoping over the winter months we'll see these wild trout, hopefully some salmon, and in the spring, in April and May, hopefully the grayling will also spawn on these. Grayling like fine gravel to spawn on in slightly shallower water, so we're probably encouraging them a bit more as well. Once again, this is like the egg box effect, if you like, under the water, and that creates this riffle on top of it. But I say it made a massive difference. I'm quite excited about how this beat's going to fish now. It's going to be completely different. Hopefully take a little bit more time to fish it rather than wander straight up it and head for the bits where we know this fish. You've seen fish throughout the full length of the beat. I think they were there before, but it's just the fact that you can now see these fish and target them over these gravel beds. Looking through this pool now, seeing what I can see. A couple of small fish just shot out from almost under my feet here. As we get towards the top of the pool, and that berm opposite, kicking the flow over these gravel beds. So that's the main thing, is getting flow over these gravel beds, not just putting them in, but we needed to get more flow over them to get more oxygen into this gravel for these fish eggs. A couple of smaller fish on this one. Obviously at the head of the pool, waiting for the food to come down. So that berm's kicking the flow one side to the other now. It's making it much better for everything involved. All the insects like these bits of gravel much more as well. We have left the silty bits and the deeper pools in between for lots of different habitat, and it's diversification we're after. And that's looking up towards the top bend. Now, you can't see too much of what we've done there. There is several hundred tons of gravel been put under that far bank that's kicked the flow right across back under your feet on our near bank. You can't really see it. Hopefully you'll see it when we come to fish it. But it made a big difference to the full length of this, and it's holding water back on those top shallows that were out of the water sort of the end of September, early October when we were short of water. Quick look down the bait. There you go. Thank you.